Here's how you can cut your RFI writing time down from 30 minutes to just 5 and get clearer, more professional responses back. I'll show you the exact prompt, real examples, and a live demo that any PM can use on site. If you stick around to the end, I'll give you the template for the exact prompt I use, so you can use it on your next project. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm Josh Turner, Construction Project Manager, who now helps construction companies adopt technology. If you want to start your AI journey, book a call with me and link in the description below. Now, before we kick it off into the demo, I'll give you the 5 key steps that you should follow to write your next RFI. Number 1 is to make sure you start with a proper, detailed prompt. Number 2, feed it good examples of at least 2 of your best RFIs to give it guidance on how it should sound. 3, give it the right spec and the drawing so it has all the context it needs to fill in the gaps. 4, you can use ChatGPT after you've created your RFI to go back and refine it and see if there's something you might have missed or any little insights you could add on later. And 5, save the template so you can use it for your next project over and over again and really save some time. Cool, now let's jump straight into the demo. So I'm in ChatGPT here, and now what I'm going to do is jump over to my prompting resources, which is where I recommend keeping the prompts that you use often. You can see here's my template for one that I use for an RFI and the information that's needed there. Now, what I'm going to do is just copy and paste this into ChatGPT. And then what I'm going to do is fill in the project information from the square boxes here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Great. So I've gone ahead and filled that out. What you can see here is the key pieces of the prompt is the role. So you're telling it what it is acting as, so it knows exactly the context behind it. And then here's where you put in the specific project information. So the name, the background of the issue, the reason why you're creating the RFI. And then just to further make sure it's super clear on the objective is to give it the specific issue that you need clarification on so it can make that clear in the RFI itself. And then the requested action you want the person who's reading it to do. And here's the important bit is example RFIs. So I see I've prompted it's going to be uploaded. I actually haven't uploaded it yet. So all you do here is go add photos and files. And I've got 2 examples I'm going to give it of how I want it to sound. And that just gives a bit of a guideline on what the final product it should be creating is. And then the important thing here is attaching the relevant specification section. So rather than uploading the whole document, which are usually really long, so probably get confused or just be too big for it to process, just copy in the relevant ones that you need for your RFI. So you can see here, this is a made up example, but here would be the relevant section that I'm referring to. And you can see there's 2 there. And then there's the drawing reference, just so it can include that too. So you need to do that at the end. And the final thing is just the last bit on the final guidance for the tone that you want your RFI to sound as. Now, that gives it plenty of information to go ahead and create exactly what you need. So I'm just going to hit enter and let that think about it for a minute. And here it should come back with a draft that is in the same format as the examples I've given it, which it is. And you can see it's got all the details put in there, worded right and nice and clear so the person reading it can simply understand and send that straight back to you. Now that's a big win for a project because it means less back and forth with RFIs that aren't that clear, so you can get answers faster and keep your project moving. So now I've done that, what we usually do is first read it to check that it's getting across the point that I want, which in this case it is. So I'm going to copy it. Now, obviously, normally with your RFIs, you'll have a template that you can simply just put it into the main body of, and then you'll have other information related to the RFI, like the RFI number, the date, probably the project, the title, and when you're expecting a response by. So this is really creating the bulk of the report that goes in the middle there, the bit that can often leave you sitting for a while trying to figure out how to actually word it so that it makes sense. Whereas this has done the heavy lifting for us now. So now that's in there, what I like to do as a double check is I'll actually go back and get the ChatGPT to have a think about whether or not I've included everything, or maybe give me some ideas on what I might be missing. What are some things that I may be missing? Now, it's going to go ahead and just take another look at it and see if there's any way you can clarify it. So it's gone ahead and it's given me some technical detail. So attaching photos, absolutely, that would be a great thing to do and a big help. So that's something I can think about doing if this is a real one. Testing data, if you have any, that's another good one. Depth confirmation, we did have that in there, so don't need that. And the urgency, that's always a good one to have. Spec interpretation, none of that's really going to be adding any value. Now, that is a good one, but in this case, lot 17 is probably good enough. It's just an example, but for your project, it may be different. Cross-referencing other specs, yep. Request the format, that could be another good one, but for this case, it's not really prompted anything else that I want to add, mainly because it's an example here, but you can go deeper on this and ask him more questions on the spec if you have something more specific, and we'll go through and find that. So there you have it. Here's the final product that would be built into your template. So yeah, it's a great way to save time. And the key things is just to repeat the 5 critical steps to get this underway is 1, start with a proper detailed prompt so it knows exactly what you need. 2, feed it good examples. Now this is critical so it knows how to tailor a report into your own style. 3, give it the right spec and just the right spec numbers, and the drawing context too. That way it can put all the information in there without having to assume things. 4 is to run another check, ask a few questions on the RFI that you're specifically interested in, so it can give you some good insights into what you might be able to add later. And 5, save the template. Have a template ready to go for whatever you may be writing. It's a huge hack to getting these things done quickly, and just make it a habit to go in there and hit this first. So you don't have to spend that time agonizing over what wording you want to be using. Cool. So there you have it. That's how you can save a ton of time by using ChatGPT or LLM to help you write your reports. I hope that's helpful. And if you like the video, then please let me know. Or if you want to know some more stuff that you want automating, drop it in the comments and we can create another video on that. As promised, the template that I used in this video is actually just down in the description below. So go ahead, copy that so you can use it on your own projects. Thanks for watching.